Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks for August 5th. I am, as always, Cursed Chords.
I'm back. Hello. I'm solving problems.
Hello, and I'm Hifrok.
Yeah, we're all back together for the first time in a number of weeks, right? 3 weeks or so since we last had an all-together stream, and we've all been to conventions since that time, right?
Yeah, mine not really related to what we talk about, but
Yeah, so, well, that's pretty much what we're going to be about. Um, in the case of you, Hithrock, it was Galacon in Germany.
Yep.
And in my case, it was I'm actually still in Indianapolis for Gen Con, where we just had a little smattering of pony events going on as well. And BronyCon also happened last week, although none of us were actually there. So we actually have quite a bit of potential development, at least in the pony world, to talk about. Although, as I kind of mentioned to the guys earlier, we haven't actually gotten like official results up on Reddit or anything, which is a little strange and a little unfortunate actually, at least as far as like BronyCon and Galacon are concerned. But whatever. We have our memories to talk about, right?
Yep.
So since Galacon was the most chronologically back there tournament, perhaps you can start, Hithcock.
Well, what shall I start with? On Galacon, there was only Harmony tournament because the organizer was afraid that no one has core decks since the interest of the game in Germany is quite low. So, like, his point was people can just bring their old decks and play them,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of what happened for some people. I played against a guy who I think he had quite a modern deck. It was a farming deck, but he doesn't play often. He said that like he played last time a while ago. So there's that. And I had a guy who played basically Hot Wings against me, and I think he made it to top two. I'm not sure if he won, but he made it to top two or something.
Okay.
And I think the other deck I saw was I think it was pink white. I didn't have a chance to play against it. It just was near me, and I was kind of looking the game. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I know about other decks.
Okay, I see. Well, that sounds like a good variety, at least, if nothing else.
Yeah, there have been quite a bit of control, quite a bit of and I was running myself a chaos control deck, was quite similar to what I had in Haka, except like I don't have actually have some cards like Destiny Drain, so I had to substitute them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I
a.
went
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I went 2-2 and I lost two games because I wasn't smart enough to win them.
All right, that's always fair. Yeah, yeah. Just as a note to any viewers at the moment, yeah, we are. I am on a hotel internet connection, and I have been noticing a couple of latency spikes here on my bitrate. So, uh, in case anyone notices that, yeah, that's just what it is. We're doing relatively okay though, so just wanted to get that out there in case you see that.
Yep. And on the second day of Galacon, there was draft. I wasn't participating in it myself, even though I wanted, but at the same time I wanted to see the rest of the convention, so I I decided to give up on draft and do other things.
Hmm.
So I wasn't participating in that, unfortunately. But I think it was Defenders of Equestria draft
All right.
because they only had Equestria.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I know I always go to conventions and for the most part regret not seeing the rest of it, but yeah. Well, good to know.
Yeah, I really wanted to like to have my silver shield signed, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, after that, I suppose. Well, BronyCon was going on the same weekend. As I said, none of us were actually there, but I've heard. I watched a little bit of the stream of the Swiss rounds, and I paid attention a little bit to which decks finished well, and it was primarily, from what I could tell, it was primarily a convention about pink and purple. The sort of pink purple portals deck, or well, you know, your version of Throg is purple pink, right? But
Yeah, it also has some white.
yeah. Anyway, that deck kind of owned the day. I believe it was like 3 of the top 4. So I'm actually really looking forward to getting the lists out from that so that we can have a look at it and see. But it's been a pretty dominant force in the meta so far, from what it seems
I
like.
think there are some lists on Reddit.
Some like recent ones.
I mean, there was some post with deck lists, and there's BRB everywhere.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe I just haven't looked at it since then.
I posted the link in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally just went on it and saw that.
Oh, well.
And was about to say once you finished talking, and then you mentioned it first. But yeah, Baltimore.
All right, give me a
Okay.
second.
Apparently, BRB is pretty good when there's no main 6 around.
Yeah, that's. It's not entirely surprising that pink is still good even without main 6. Just because it's still a pretty amazing color. But yeah, still see it performing so well. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the thread. Sorry about that. Just saw it. Yeah, so actually it was this Chrysalis blue-white deck that I wanted to really look at, honestly. First, because it's the odd one out, and also because it's a well, yeah, it's a cool idea. Like I remember actually seeing this one on stream and thinking to myself that blue-white as colors seemed like, oh, that's aggro. But no, this guy did it with did it as control, and it's well, made top 4, so really pretty good.
According to the post, it was in top 2.
Oh, top 2? Yeah, even better.
Top 2 split on account of having played against BRB for the last 6 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, blue-white for control is an interesting area to explore. Not everyone dares to try that.
Oh. But it's got a lot of synergy in it that's actually quite cute. If cute's the right word.
Well, yeah. Sorry, give me a second. I'm looking at it for the first time fully here, so.
I'm glad Wake Up Call's finally getting used in some form, because it's really good.
Yeah. Wake up call. In a meta, well, yeah, I guess it's being used here kind of as a soak for a little bit of that resource removal, since so many decks are only going to be running 3 of them. This deck actually has quite a few resources that are serious problems to deal with. I mean, honestly, it's a little interesting actually because I say it's control, right? But no, it's cards like Dream Cavalry, cards like um, even Babs up there. Oh, there's definitely a piece of aggro in this deck as well. It's not just a classic Frighten deck either.
It's probably best to call it tempo, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
as it takes what it can get from all the frighten effects and sort of utilizes it as soon as it can, basically.
Yeah.
Using cards like Babs to make it so that they get bonuses, or Zomponi so it takes longer for your opponent to recover. Sort of traditional tempo type stuff.
Yeah. Which is actually a interesting point because that's I I feel like, and I actually wrote an article about this, my article for July, that I feel like that is kind of the direction that Core seems to be going in. Is, more decks like this, ones that even BRB is kind of similar, as a deck that has a lot of ways of slowing the opponent down, but each of them are also things that get you towards confronts and towards face-offs at the same time.
I guess it's because the format actually kind of allows it. If you compare it to something like Core, especially with the distinct lack of farming being anywhere near as effective, using frightening as a temporary piece of removal is much more effective when you can be like, yeah, their main can exist and it's
Mm-hmm.
not too much of a worry.
Yeah. In a world where friends are more around, then frightening necessarily becomes better. Interesting. Hmm. Well, all right. Now that these results are here, I just kind of want to pour over them now. I mean, we can.
Well, less results and more just a pile of deck lists in kind of some sort of order.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I mean, we may as well take a look at BRB while we're here. I'm looking at the list that Cheese is running here myself.
What, the one that didn't top two?
He was top 4 actually, just top 4. Yeah. I mean, we've all seen similar ideas on this list before. I remember like the tweak that was made was the inclusion of that one Skystar who dismisses something, friend to the end, just as a little bit more removal, which I suppose makes it better against the mirror.
Yeah, the initial version of BRB didn't raise Skystar but ran free Tempest and Grubber.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, with Tempest and Grubber, like to actually remove a friend, you need to start the face off, or well, do that before the face off happens. And I think sometimes you need to like remove a friend immediately without letting your opponent get it before anything.
Right.
Especially as there starts to be more and more enters play, or when you play discard triggers that are actually really good in getting around. Sometimes just spinning it is better.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, like, I guess it makes sense for BRB because it doesn't run purple main. But is it really still worth to run Zikora after a J-ban in core?
Well, how do we fare on our, like, you can still be banished for that color requirement. And the deck is a little bit, well, hang on a second, we're going,
Yeah, color requirement for BRB is a big thing because all of the key cards require you to have free purple, which is a lot. Which is when I was building my portal deck, that's the problem I encountered. I pretty much everything, like all of my core cards, require free purple. It's Luna's Future, it's Portal, it's Discords, it's Tempest Grabber, etc. Everything.
yeah.
So what I did to solve that is just to run but BRB doesn't run a purple main, so entry is a big deal. But Decor only gives you 2 purple, which is not enough
Not
on its own.
yeah, not usually. It's like
It does give you access to a few pieces, though.
yeah,
It lets you shove Moondancer down, which gives you the 3 purple.
Yeah, but I mean,
and things like that.
You might as well just remove Zikor and put an arrow Twilight, because Twilight has now a more useful effect and gives you the same amount of purple.
For 2 action tokens, though, rather than 0.
Yeah, true, fair.
I think it's because it's free is the sort of edge case
well, it's
reasoning.
It's 2 action tokens, but it's also there for next turn as well. Although I suppose if you're only doing it to bridge into like a Tempest and Grubber or a Selena or whatever. Although it is worth noting, I suppose, that like if you want a friend to be in play to give you your purple, since you need 3s all the time everywhere, that's basically just Moondancer and Tempest and Grubber that can actually sit and play and give you enough purple to play anything else.
Yeah. Still playing Zikor is quite expensive, though. It's not just free for free. And the ability itself is not really it is useful in some scenarios, but not in the most of them. Not after AJ ban.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess just looking at the rest here of the list, I do see a fair amount of let me see here. 1, 2 Scroodaloos here. Both Scroodaloo pink actually. Let me take a look at that Scroodaloo pink. Alright, yeah. I guess Scroodaloo pink is essentially a kind of Hot Wings. Although
No, it looks quite different.
yeah, quite different actually. Sorry, which list are you looking at?
What am I looking at? I'm looking at Jata Arcana's deck, Scuttle Pink.
Okay, same as me, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another Scuttle Pink. I think it's the same deck list though.
I'd imagine so. They're probably
Yeah.
same. Okay, people from the same.
I think that might be Joking Luna, because I know their Joking Luna and Jata Arcana went together.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually a relatively, again, this version of blue pink is actually a little bit more control oriented. Again, a little bit more frightened, even with that cheese sandwich to turn your frightens into dismissal sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't have angel wings and control tools like funny business,
Cannonball
cannonball surprise,
surprise.
cheese sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like purely aggro. It's not a control thing in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of that actually kind of middle of the road going on. This the blue white deck, even like BRB itself is essentially a middle of the road deck. Just kind of, either you take the aggro side or you take the control side of that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting though because BRB is more controlish and this is more aggro-ish.
Yeah.
But they're still like not just an aggro deck or just a control deck. There's also another deck, which is Skystar Blue. It looks more like Hot Wings.
Star Blue, Samuel's deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially just Hot Wings in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is much more
Pretty much.
traditional. Yeah. The Lyra and Bonbon is a card I don't remember seeing in old style Hot Wings decks, but pretty good all the same.
Mm-hmm. Interesting thing here is Fernando now.
Yeah, Fernando just gets thrown in
The Skystar deck.
in a non-chaos control deck, just thrown in as removal. Interesting.
Well, at worst, you're just paying 1 to draw a card.
Yeah, true. It cycles itself.
At the very worst, yeah.
Also, the blue requirement is heavy.
You're right, actually. That's a good point. Sitting here with Rutherford, Night Glider, Thunderlane, the 4 requirement Night Glider, that is.
This looks
Yeah.
like a deck that could probably scoop to party of them if you've replaced Trading Tradition.
Possibly, yeah.
It does seem very greedy.
Yeah, there's only 3 entry cards that I can see, which is Cloud Chasers. And they don't give you enough to play anything really.
Except for some of the dual colors. Oh wait,
Yeah.
all of the dual colors. Cute.
Yeah, you can only play Lyran, Bonbon, and Sorin, and Angel Wings.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite a fair share of cards, but still.
Yeah, it's the kind of deck that like probably is gonna have a really good opening turn, because you're probably gonna have some powerful plays to make. But yeah, you're right. Like replace the train traditions and then whack them with a party of 1 or whatever, and yeah, you're gonna be in a much harder situation.
Yeah,
Because they literally have to draw Cloud Chaser. Oh, there you go.
and BRB does exactly that. It locks you out of your entry.
Mm-hmm.
So many blue.
Yeah,
Out of all decks here, except BRB, only like 2 decks are not blue.
the Skystar yellow and
And that one is also blue. Never mind. Only
Yeah.
one deck is not blue.
just the pink yellow, which I'm actually interested to look at. Pink yellow is, how do you play pink yellow?
Which is funny because like blue is considered the weakest color in core right now. From what I know, at least.
It seems like relatively educated people tell you that blue is the worst color. in core right now. And yet, yes. Well, I guess there's a lot of blue in the top 8, but again, go up to the top 4 and there's only one blue deck out of 4.
Yeah, but to be fair, like 3 of the 4 decks are the same deck.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, good point. Like if you're of the opinion that BRB just kind of rolls everyone, then blue doesn't look very good. But it's a pretty good observation to make that still a lot of people out there running that color. And it is still a very sort of simple, I don't want to say simple maybe, but straightforward and evident strategy to run. Blue is the color that confronts problems and wins face-offs and scores you points, basically. It's fallen into that role pretty well.
And no purple outside of BRB. What a disappointment.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, sure.
Oh, never mind. Blue and purple.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, blue and purple. Oh, yeah, Max's deck. That's right. Yes, he's. I believe I saw him on stream. I'm actually quite surprised because he usually, back in the day that I knew him, he would always run mono blue. But well, taking it on to blue purple. Then more of a aggro focused blue purple list. But even this list, and by the way, I'm looking at it now, running the 2 cover to covers is a little surprising actually. The AT is amazing. We all know that. Even for an aggro deck.
I think it's just because Twilight and Spike is that good.
Yeah, it's kind of a good point as well.
Yeah, Twilight and Spike do wonders.
Also, Aloysius seems like a strange choice because it's going to have Meticulous like in the early turn 1 and 2, and then just.
There's motivational speech. You play it once and you get.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, still, and it's a one-off.
Yeah, just a singleton. I think you do need a little bit of help for purple. That gets us you up to 4 cards that can enable Twilight and Spike. Sorry, 4 friends. Then there's the barrels and the speeches. So yeah, that takes you up to 7.
Yeah, which is an okay amount. Yeah, other than that, it looks just like an aggro deck with some purple in it.
Yeah, essentially.
For Twine Spike.
Although
and it doesn't even do portals there to reuse stuff like First Mate Mullet and Loyal Ponies, I think. So I guess it's not very useful in Loyal Pony, but on First Mate Mullet, very much.
Yep,
yes.
Excellent. And Magical Pony as well is a card. Rutherford as well.
Yeah, there are quite a bit of targets. 5 resource removal is a lot.
Well, it's fair to say that honestly 3 as the heuristic is perhaps getting a little bit even we saw that blue-white deck had how many effective resources, 8 or 9 or something. Having
Yeah, but I would
Sorry.
still prefer to run like rest in pieces in place of special boom cannon, but I guess it's different for aggro decks.
Perhaps,
I
yeah.
guess aggro decks can just allow itself to spend free AT.
Mhm. Like one thing that I can talk about as we get into Gen Con, and I'm noticing in this pink yellow deck, is the Spooky Ruins, the yellow resource that we got in the Sequestria. That is a card that I appreciate seeing in this deck, and I used it to pretty good effect at Gen Con, and it's like really good, honestly. And so any deck that wants to run that and sticks, and it's relatively easy these days actually to put enough resources into your deck that 3 resource removal from your opponent is just not going to be enough.
Yeah, true, but I mean it's the same for friends and friend removal. Like you'll never have enough friend removal to remove everything your opponent can play. You just have to save your removal for the best things.
Perhaps Solving would like to have a word with you on that question, but
Party of One exists still, just because you don't have main 6 to do a sweeper. Party of One is easily recurable. I was doing it back when we only had 3 sets of Block 2, and I was doing Block 2 constructed. So you can have removal for every friend, you just have to build your deck around it.
Yeah,
I think in the tempo-based format that this has become, you'd just be a bit too slow, but obviously it's something I need to experiment with, and it's kind of difficult when people don't really play.
okay. Do we have anything else to say about Burning Gun?
um, I suppose anybody seeing the Seleno list, the Seleno White deck from Jonathan S. That's the to point out. That's the known combo aggro already. At least I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean Jonathan was running this deck at every con we've seen.
Yeah.
He was with it in BabsCon. He was with it at Everfree Northwest, and he's here with BronyCon.
Mm-hmm. And I don't believe the deck's actually changed since Everfree.
I think he swapped a couple of cards. I'm not sure. I don't remember the list card to card, but I think there were some minor changes.
You're right, actually. I don't remember Limb Actuator being in the Everfree list. Which, again, yeah, it's more aggro. It works. Yeah, this is actually one of those few. Well, actually, I was gonna say, I was about to say this is one of those few lists that's kept to being pure aggro and isn't like changing it up anymore. But then I see he also put in a torch as well, which is
yeah. He also used to have Rarity Pony Pirate, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Even the vote for itself. Certainly a sizable amount of the time gets played just for that frighten sometimes.
Yeah, but from what I heard, the vote in this deck because it says score a point.
Yeah, that helps too.
The only thing I'm curious about, like after the J ban, is it worth to run free cracking the cases? Yeah, I mean I can imagine running a couple for like mimics and stuff, but free is a bit too much, it seems to me.
Well, yeah. In like if the meta is always like this and like nobody else is running purple, right? Like how many of these decks in the BronyCon list even had troublemakers in them? Not that many, I don't think.
It was probably just a meta call that went wrong. Yeah, happened.
Perhaps, yeah. I
The
actually,
lack of sideboarding does mean that can happen.
like, funnily enough, I think Sokol's list here might actually be the only one with troublemakers in them. And he's the one with the crack in the cases. Um,
I guess you can't score points off his Tempest then.
yeah.
Yeah, but his deck doesn't really want to banish Tempest.
I know.
But yeah, you're right. Perhaps locally, he's got more purple to deal with. Or more of any deck that runs troublemakers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still the thing of it's reasonable to expect mimics. Just
It's true.
at any point.
Yeah, I mean, cracking the case is great against mimics. Well, unless they name variants, but you can just banish them before they have a chance to name anything. But still, like, 3 of cracking the case sounds like a bit too much for me.
Yeah, it's a choice to make. It's true. Like one of my wins at Gen Con, and I suppose we are getting ready to transition into that, was actually just double mimics with a Spooky Ruins and basically just win from there.
Yeah, I had a similar game in Galacon too, so I was playing against Hot Wings. They removed my entry, so I didn't have any orange to work with for a long time because my decks are greedy on entry. But I just put 2 mimics into play, and they couldn't defeat my mimics, and I couldn't find my entry, so it was kind of stalemate. but they won in the end.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, Mimics remains that card that just is kind of oppressive in many respects. Just have 2 out and your opponent, well, they really can't do anything except try to get rid of them.
Yeah, they can also play 880 for that dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
One dilemma.
So yeah, I guess speaking of, to transition into my experiences here at Gen Con, we did have a relatively small field, given that the event was only announced like, what was it, really like a month or so before, even less than that, I think. It's not entirely surprising. We got up to 12 participants, which was enough to have a top 8 cut rather than a top 4 cut, so that was nice. Let's see. I know there was a little bit of BRB. A few people were actually running Chaos Control instead, which was interesting. Didn't actually see any of them myself. There was a little bit of farming. One gentleman running blue farming, actually, blue-orange.
Oh. Blue orange with what, my Rainbow Dash?
Rainbow Dash, yes. Yeah. Which, yeah, I played against him, and I believe he was actually my first opponent. And it's, yeah, I mean, she still fights troublemakers just as well as before, essentially. Yeah, and so and then there was kind of like a smattering of other things in the field. Yeah, I was there with Tempest Yellow, and funnily enough, I actually did end up making it to top 8, kind of. Like we had 2 people drop during the tournament, and I finished 10th. But 8th place couldn't play in the finals, and 9th place couldn't play in the finals. And so it came to me. I also couldn't play in the finals because I had something else scheduled that day. So we actually only had a top 7. Yeah. And so that is kind of the reason why I don't actually know how the finals actually went because I was off doing something else that day. But I remember there was there were like 2 BRBs and 2 chaos controls, and I believe the farming deck was there, and a couple of other things. So all in all, there was some variety to be had.
That's good.
I mean, to be fair, Bronicon also had quite a bit of variety, except at the top cut.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see Gen Con results. I think we're gonna have them like in a couple of days, right?
That would be sort of the usual expectation. Yeah. Right now the con is still going on, so everyone is out there enjoying it. Except me. But yeah, people will get that together by Tuesday or Wednesday or something probably. And yeah, there wasn't a stream this time around. Unfortunately, that was just a matter of logistics. But there were at least a few matches recorded, so that's going to be going up on Commentaries Magic's YouTube channel at some point.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, then when I asked about the stream, they said like they're not going to have a so it's not quite possible. Which is a shame. I would watch that. I couldn't watch Bronicon stream because I was at Galacon. I'd watch Gen Con.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's going to be at least some content for you to see then, somewhere down the line. And it was good to, like, there were a number of people there actually that I hadn't met yet as well, so definitely good to make introductions and get to know the rest of the community. Obviously, like I said, 12 is a low number, but it's not unexpected given the way it all went down. And it was amazing just to have anything to do with ponies there anyway.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same for Galacon. Like it was great to play with people, get to know people. I found out that some people don't participate in Coca because they don't have webcam and they think everyone plays with webcam.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was mostly nagging people to like go play online, because they're great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was also great. Like some people were recognizing me, like, "Oh, I know you're from Reddit." Like, yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of recognition is always weird to deal with. But hey, you're a name, right?
Hmm?
You're a name. You're someone people know.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I guess people know me from my daily discussion thread, because when you go on Reddit, there's just daily discussion thread everywhere.
True. Yes.
Which I still have yet to post today.
Oh, what is today's card?
I don't know. Let's see what people voted for. No one voted for anything, so I guess I will choose one, which will probably be Soprano.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or you can vote for a card, then you don't have to choose.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, I think Soprano's fine. Soprano is. You guys know the little history of her, right?
No, not me.
That she's supposed to be different colors?
Yeah, that she's supposed to be pink orange, or she was originally conceived as being pink orange. Yeah, like that's one of those things that sometimes you lie awake at night and wonder what the world would look like if that card was pink-orange.
I probably wouldn't have done as well with pink-white Party of One, admittedly,
Mm-hmm.
because raritying, looking at their hand and going, they have this, 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 and this, and crossing it off as they use it. So good.
Yeah, hand knowledge is great,
Yeah, for sure.
especially in control colors like white pink.
Yeah, I mean, it's to that point that I didn't think it was particularly a problem. Oh, yeah, rarity, white pink, sure, why not? And
I was just there like, wait a minute. Why does pink-white have 2 ultras and orange-pink have 0? And I was like, whatever, it's supposed to be a creative decision. And then I found out, oh wait.
yeah. I just said, oh, well, yeah, because I mean, rarity obviously she's ultra, sure, whatever. And it didn't even hit me until a couple days later. It's like, hang on a second, this is, yeah,
Yeah, it also was one of those. I read the text like, maybe that's good.
You see, I have the perspective of Magic, and I knew that the effect was strong straight away. Thanks to it's very similar to a card in Magic that has Flash, which is basically hasty, and it's just costs 3. Does the same thing and is absolutely incredible. Gives you hand information, you get rid of their best card, and they replace it probably with something that's useless. Yes, please. And
Right. Yeah.
in addition, double diamond, which was my first thought, if it's your main phase, you can be like, you know what, I'm going to play this. Put the other card because you have 5 cards or something like that.
Yeah.
That is like my favorite synergy that I've done with it.
just and rarity into a grubber basically. Interesting.
Yep.
Ages before Grubber even existed.
Why balloon colors don't see so much play then? Not only that, you also get bonuses from that.
So what was that first part?
Why balloon colors don't see so much play then? Opponent plays with a revealed hand, and each time they draw a card, you get bonuses from that.
Oh, balloonoculars. Yeah, sorry, I didn't. That word just wasn't computing for a second.
Yeah, I get.
It's because if you play it and they can dismiss it immediately, it literally has done nothing.
Well, don't you see their
It
hand?
shows the hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just seeing hand for, is it 2?
2 or might be more than that
Yeah,
actually.
but balloon colors cost 3.
Yeah, 3 I think.
And if they don't remove it immediately, you get some neat stuff. For friends, you put a power counter. For once, you draw a card.
And it's pink orange, right?
This one actually makes sense.
Yes, a lot of sense actually. Yeah, I mean that's
I
definitely
think probably the easiest issue you could say with it is if you play it, look at their hand and see even a main phase resource dismissal. Neither of the effects you can get are worth 3 action tokens on their own. And sort of playing that risk of if I play it and I see resource dismissal, it's just, oh, there we go. I paid 3 to see their hand and make them discard 1 card and maybe draw a card or maybe get a power counter, but if they draw a resource or a troublemaker, you get nothing. It's like, it's just too inconsistent, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas with rarity, it's just boom, effect, go.
yeah,
There you
it's one of those cards that's like has the potential to give you a lot of value over the course of the game, but it's a little bit too spread out, right? As opposed to cards that give you value right away, and they're just always good. Right, like if the binoculars was played on turn 2 and stays in play until turn 12 or whatever, then yeah, you did great with it. But even if it has to stay in play for like 3 or 4 turns before it's really returned on its investment, then it's probably not going to be worth it, right?
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, I think we went quite a bit into off topic.
Oh, well.
It's fine. So anyway, yeah, that was essentially my experience with Gen Con. As you said, we've got there's going to be official results at some point, and then in our next stream we can talk about them perhaps in some more depth. Because there definitely were some interesting decks to pick apart in there, especially given some time.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, we're essentially just going to settle into the usual waiting game here, where regards the upcoming new set.
Yeah, I was really hoping they're going to get something like BronyCon.
I honestly thought, considering they made that post a while ago, they'd at least have like a single card finalized. Be like, look, set 10 exists, guys.
Name of the set, or like name of one card. I would be fine with some.
Anything enter play, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about covers us for this week. Unless either of you have anything to add.
Nope.
Okay. So, fortunately, I am here on my laptop without the usual assets to show you what our YouTube channel is, but our streams are going to go there. Uploaded a couple of hours after this, probably. And
If your internet's bad, it might be like a couple of years.
well, it's like Twitch can export it on its own. And in that case, I believe my connection doesn't matter.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Otherwise, we'll be back 2 weeks from now with probably more of an in-depth look at the Gen Con lists and more understanding of who actually won, for that matter. Until then, I've been Chris Accords.
I've been solving problems.
And Heathrock.
And we'll see you in a fortnight.
See ya.
See ya.